Hey everybody, and welcome to Throttle Works. I'm Oren. If you've been here before, you know that I mainly focus on Rokons. If you've just stumbled across us, know that I just do everything that I absolutely can with Rokons, two-wheel drive motorcycles that go anywhere, do anything, have all the fun you can possibly have. Today we're going to be going through Rokon Maintenance 101. All right, so we've got the bike here, and then we've got a whole table full of lubricants and filters, and we're going to go through all of them together today. So stick around. If you're looking for more information on the Rokons, this is it. So first thing I'm going to do on both sides, I'm going to take off all these panels. This one covers your fuel filter and your electrical. This one covers your transmission and the bottom of your rear drivetrain. And this side, this big one, covers all of your clutches, your drive belts, and all of your other goodies down in there. Your battery box is down in here too. So we're going to take all these off, and then we're going to be able to access all of the things. Okay, so to get started, all these bolts are 12 millimeters, so that's pretty standard across the board. This one's missing, but all the bolts on here, I think, are for the most part gonna be standard sizes because this is built and made in America. So there's that side. As you can see, you've got your primary clutch, your secondary clutch, exhaust, you got your dipsticks front and rear, got all the access to the engine here. So here's your plug for your 12 volt, but we're not gonna go too deep into it, so I'm just gonna let it hang. It's not a big deal. All right, so now we've got a better view of all of our electrical components, our really old, tired, full of chunks. I don't know if you can see them in there or not, but there is actual chunks in the fuel filter. Transmission, it's pretty dirty. So we're gonna probably clean that up and get all the oils changed and get it ready for the rest of the season. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna change the oil, and right down in there, right there, that plug, that is your drain tube or your drain plug for the engine. And obviously it'll come out of this little hole right here. So right out of the gate, I'm a liar myself. The drain plug is a 10 mil, not all metric. So let's go ahead and pop that off. And it may make it easier to pull the fill plug out. Let some drain out that way so you can get past it to the actual drain plug. You obviously want to keep the bike as vertical as possible, but sometimes it's just not the case. So I've got this block here. Setting it up off the ground a little ways. Otherwise it would have it's just tipped all the way over. Okay, so now that we have the oil drained, plug back in, the rear check plug back in. We're gonna open the front check plug right here, and then we're gonna get our fresh 10W30 is what it calls for this specific engine. It calls for 1030, and it calls for 6/10 or 0.6 of a quart. So that's what we're gonna put in it. So I like to use Mobil 1 because, I don't know, I've just always had good luck with Mobil 1, running it from my cars to my dirt bikes, my four-wheelers, all of it. I just think it's a good thing. Obviously, I'm not sponsored by Mobil 1. That would be incredible. But so doing the math, 6/10 of a quart is actually about 19 ounces. So that'll leave us about 12 or 13 ounces left in the jug. Okay, so that's step number one. Oil is officially changed. Next, we're going to do the transmission and the MiterBox. For those of you that are new to Rokons, this here is the MiterBox. This is basically your front diff of the motorcycle. It's run off of a, let's see, we'll get to this side. It's actually run off of a drive shaft right there. This drive shaft connects down through this frame tube all the way into the transmission, which is right here. And then what that does is it turns this chain on this end, obviously following it down and driving following it down and driving this sprocket on this 1-to-1 bearing down here. So this right here is the drain, fill, and vent plug for the MiterBox. So there's two ways that you can go about changing the oil on this. You can completely disassemble this whole front end, pull this MiterBox up, and tip it upside down. But that's way too much. You don't need to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to take this plug out, and I've got some 1/4-inch plastic tubing and a syringe, and what we're going to do is suck it out and put new in. This plug is a 7/16 and just comes right out. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this 1/4-inch tube, plug it into my syringe, simple enough, so you get a nice snug fit. And then I'm just going to take the handy dandy Leatherman here, cut off, I don't know, 6-8 inches, whatever you feel is necessary. And then all we're going to do is we're going to send it through the rack, right down into the hole. Oh yeah. I'll be honest, this is a 2021 model Rokon, and shame on me, this is the first time I've done services on it. But in my defense, you know, this thing has just been completely unstoppable. Every single thing that I ask it to do, it exceeds my expectations. It's a wonderful machine. If you ever have the chance to buy one and you feel the need, I'd say go for it. I love it, and that's why I make all these videos on it. So Rokon calls for 2.5 ounces for the MiterBox, which seems really, really low. Just go ahead and follow manufacturer specs. Probably never a bad idea. And obviously it's going to make a gigantic mess because that's always how diff fluid goes. I don't know if it's possible to do it without making a giant mess. All right, so that's our 2.5 ounces. I'm just going to clean off the little vent tube. You look in here, it's got a little spring-loaded compressing venting thing on there, so it can vent and do all of its venting things. And then we're just going to go put this thing back in. On a lot of these, I like to go, you know, just about a half pass snug. That'll keep you nice and tight. Clean it off. Give the old spray down. Just like that, the MiterBox is done, good as new. Okay, so next we're going to drain and refill the transmission. What I did is I popped the seat up. I've got it supported with just a pry bar. The bolts holding the seat in are 14 mils, and they just come right out of the sides, right here. So right here is our transmission. This is our shift lever, and then the rest of it is, you know, the transmission and all of its glory in there. So right here is your drain plug. So we'll pop that off, and then right here is your fill plug right there. So we'll take that off so it drains nicely, and we'll pop that other one, and then we'll hopefully catch all of it in the drain pan. So same as the MiterBox, this vent fill plug is a 7/16. All right, 1/4-inch short 7/16 socket. Go ahead and pop that off. That is less than good. So that thing is dirty. I went way past the intervals. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to attempt to help it kind of drain and kind of flush some of those nasties out of the transmission. I'm going to take the bottle and I'm going to just kind of fill it and see if I can get some of it to move through there. Oh yeah, they're starting to clean up. So the more I look at this is actually pretty bad. I'm surprised that this has been running so good. That is just gray. That is just full of metal. I probably, again, should have done this a long time ago, but you know, it's never let me down. It's never failed. I've never had any issues with it whatsoever. forever. So, I mean, this should prolong its life for another 2 years of neglect and abuse, right? So now that it's done dripping for the most part, I'm just gonna kind of clean it up a little bit. Get the plug back in there. Half pass snug. So I can't remember if I mentioned it before, but Rokon says you should use 80-90, so that's what we got here, 80-90. The transmission holds 6 ounces of fluid, which doesn't seem like that much, but that's what they call for. So we're just gonna get at it here. See where we start. We can see it. So we're starting at 20. And to be totally honest, I'm probably gonna put just a touch more in there. There is 6 with a scoosh. Let me just clean up our fill and vent plug again, just like we did before. Make sure it's venting. All right, half pass snug. And then after a little bit of cleanup, we'll get rid of all that nasty down in the bottom of there, but that is your transmission fluid change. We're gonna get in there and I'm gonna get in there and clean all this out, clean it all up, get all the dirt, debris and stuff off of it. Okay, so that's gonna do it for part 1 of our whole Rokon maintenance series that I'm gonna do. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And I'm trying really hard. I know it's silly. I know, trying really hard to become the #1 Rokon channel on YouTube. So if you guys liked what you saw, go ahead and give me a like and hit that subscribe button for me. That does so much for me. You have no idea, and I truly appreciate your guys' support. But until the next time, we're gonna go over front and rear suspension maintenance and setting up the chain tension correctly. So I'll see you in the next one. You guys have a good night and take care.